Hello, it's Denise from Women Beyond a Certain Age. This information is so valuable today, I should be charging people. Lori Corbin, who has been a guest before on Women Beyond a Certain Age, is here with us today because I think she's just an inspiration to all of us. If you don't know, go back and listen to Lori. But Lori was the food coach and a correspondent for ABC here for years. We knew Lori, Cindy and I, because she came to our studio many times and we got to be guests. And it was so lovely of her because we sold books. And it was really, Lori, I was always overwhelmed by how many people would say, I saw you with Lori Corbin. So a 2-minute spot was like better than most of the TV shows I ever appeared on. So hello and welcome.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here again. And hey, I mean, really big fat thank you for just having me on again. Everybody likes to talk about themselves. So how fun is this that I get to do it again? And again, of course, we've learned lessons since last year or whenever it was we did this. So I think it's always so funny, like no matter how old we are, we're still young enough to learn yet some more big lessons.
Well, what I want people to know about you, and I just think it's amazing. Lori, besides being a television personality, 4 years, but Lori started out, she owned a fitness studio where you're from in Phoenix. Was it Phoenix or Scottsdale? But I know it was Arizona.
Well, it was Phoenix and Scottsdale. I had 4 locations. Okay, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. And that was hard. That really was hard. But yes, I did.
Yeah, huge management. Okay, so here, all of a sudden, now Lori could just relax, but Lori is building a new business called the Malibu Studio, and she has a new YouTube channel. And that's what I want you, Lori, to talk to us about, because what she's done is you're putting all your talents together.
I'm trying, Denise.
I know
it's funny because, and we're always trying to help women of any age, but this is one of the biggest tips I would have for you is that you might have an idea when you're leaving one career, what you feel like you're going to do or what you think you should do. And oftentimes that doesn't pan out the way you think it's going to. So when I spoke with you guys last, I did start the Malibu Studio, and the idea was to teach people how to be on camera better. And that could be just remember this was COVID when I decided to quit ABC7, but if you're in front of a television camera or whether you're in front of a phone, you're still trying to deliver your best self. So I thought, I'm going to teach these people how to do this. Well, everybody thought they apparently knew how to do it and didn't need me because I had very little success. I called all these PR people that I thought for sure would want me to help them. And it turns out they really didn't. And I'm sure dollars being tight, they were like, no, we can do it. And maybe they can, but I got to tell you, being on one side of the camera for 20 years, you know the mistakes people make. You know how to get them to be their best self, to get their story together, to craft their message, to do their elevator pitch. All these things are kind of really important, especially if you have one shot at it. So that was what I was going to do. And so that didn't happen the way I thought it was going to be. So I had to kind of reinvent. Now, as you said, I did do exercise. I've always taught exercise, even when I work for Channel 7. So to me, that's like breathing. I love to move. And so when COVID hit, of course, I'm like everybody else. I was doing things via video on my Instagram account or helping some gym, tape a video session or whatever. And so then finally, we've passed that part. And now I'm back to teaching exercise at a studio and still filming for a company, Legree Fitness. I don't know if you guys know Legree, but it's kind of like it's exercise it looks like a Pilates reformer, but it's a Legree reformer. It's called a mega former. And it's basically doing strength training super slow. It is sort of painful, but it's really great. Anyway, but I also teach interval training at a local gym. I love to do these things, but that's just for fun. So you always have to have your side hustles of making a little bit here, a little bit there. And so I say that to anybody who has left their career, know that you might not get that big job any longer. You might be doing a whole bunch of different things, which yes, I am. So I do teach exercise in person and then on tape, but because the media training thing just wasn't really going, I started asking experts, not only just not in television per se, but more public relations people that, why aren't you picking me? I just can't, I have to ask you, why aren't you picking me? And so we would chew the fat. And we have a friend, Trina Kay, as we talked about. Trina talked to me for over an hour, bless her heart. And she said, when we talked about all the things I could do and have tried, and some of them just don't work, like, hey, call that convention bureau. Hey, call those groups and see if you can't present. And there's a whole laundry list of why you might not make it. Maybe they're 3 years out. Maybe they're doing things, via Zoom or whatever. Anyway, so we talked. And when she said, hey, do a YouTube channel, that kind of resonated with me. My heart skipped a little happy beat there. And I was like, well, at least I know my body wants to do this, right? So I loved her. And a week later, not kidding, I went to some function and I ran into someone else, a PR person who I really value as well. She said the exact same thing. And so I'm like, okay. And then believe it or not, when I quit ABC7, I did a psychic thing with a gal that I had heard on a podcast. And here's one for you guys, as far as education goes. I can tell when the host loves the guest, because when they go, you are going to love this woman, or love, this woman loved the psychic. And so I felt compelled to call her. And so she lives in Canada. So I wasn't going to see her in person. But anyway, when I called her, I wanted to ask her, was I on the right path? Was doing media training the right thing? Well, you know how people are. She doesn't know me from anyone. So she says, yeah, you're doing that YouTube thing. And I'm thinking, well, I guess that's kind of like it, but no, it's not, right? So I'm like, all right. She goes, yeah, I see it. You're on your way. And I'm like, okay. So that didn't really hit me over the head until I literally started the channel and I realized, oh, that woman did say, like, beyond a year ago, the timing's never right, that I was doing a YouTube thing. So, so by and large, I did start the YouTube thing. Anyway, that is, that's the long story long. And thank you.
And you have to get, Lori, here's the thing. When you're a go-getter, or as I say, when people would say things to me like, aren't you bored? I'm not now. Okay. I love, because I didn't really take a breath for almost, I feel like 40 years. So now, but I'm starting to think about places that I could put myself for a few hours a week and enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you've been as busy as you and been a producer and created so much content already, it's just natural for you to continue. That's all.
Yeah.
You're in a new place.
And also to your point, and I think this is so important for everyone to understand. I think most people would say, I want to help, right? We are kind of helpers, and we're trying to educate and inspire. You're one of the most vivacious human beings on the planet. And for you guys have never seen Denise at a convention in front on a big stage, I got to tell you, it is a riot. You are really good. And so that takes a lot. That's an art, but also that's inspiration. So if we can take what we know and we can share that with people, it's important. And I think to even take that a step further, because we are older and because we have history, that makes you more of an expert, right? I mean, there are many people on TikTok that are probably, 10-second experts, and, good for them. They look good and they move well or they sing well, whatever. But it's the historical stuff. We've got this past that makes us really understandable and relatable. And also, it's not always about the wow, in the sense that, do I have a new move for you? Well, I could create one, but I know there are people out there that need help. They say, gosh, my knees hurt. I can't get down on the floor. Well, I can show you how to move not being down. I can do vertical workouts, or, I really have a hard time exercising. I hate it, actually. So what could I do? There's all that, So I think that's in the fitness space for me. That's exactly where I like to shine, because I know there is something that someone is going to like. We're going to find it, right? And then they can do it. So with food, I think that.
This is so important. And I have to tell you, Lori, this is because since I've seen you last, when COVID hit, I started walking, but I've always walked my dogs, but I just started taking a second walk every day for myself. And I just enjoy it. It's beautiful here. It's real pretty.
Yeah.
Well, I lost 24 pounds during COVID. So I've lost 24 pounds. I've kept it off. Cindy knows I piss and moan because I haven't lost any weight for a month or two. But Lori, I was just trying to create those habits. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
That's what I think of you with fitness, as you said, and people now. I need to bring in more fitness. So that's why I'm excited about your YouTube channel. And I bought myself a bicycle that, by the way, I could blow the dust off of today. But but here,
clothes hanger.
I don't know why we all make excuses. Do you know what I mean? But we do. But see, I ran out of, my excuse always was, I don't have time. Well, I'm retired and COVID hit. I had nothing but time. Okay.
Now what do I do? Yeah.
I have nothing but time. So if I wanted to, and now of course, a year out, almost a year and a half out, if I don't take my walk, Lori, I miss it.
Oh yeah, I agree. There's a guy, his name is CJ Fogg. He's a Stanford researcher and very funny guy, by the way. And he wrote a book on tiny changes. Well, let me see, I have to look at that book. It's like Tiny Habits.
You're
I had
right.
to go over and look at the bookcase. Yeah. But oh my gosh, it is so remarkable if you can do something tiny. And I mean, I'll give you his examples. He wanted to work out, but he didn't really want to work out, just like everyone and their brother. So he said to himself, every time I pee, I'm going to do one push-up. All right. First of all, with women, oh my gosh, we could get quite a few in each day, right? But he didn't make it like, I'm going to do push-ups all the time, or I'm going to do 2 sets of 15. He said, I'm going to do one. And granted, when you do one, you're like, okay, while I'm down here, I might as well do another one, right? He said, I'm only going to floss one tooth, because he really don't like flossing. He don't like the stuff getting stuck in his teeth. He goes, I'm just going to floss one tooth, like the easiest one. Of course, he's in there. Of course, he does more, right? So it's the setup of getting yourself to do something neat. Even better, my favorite example of him was he had a client, and she said, every time I have to meet my husband, because they were separated and they had a kid and they had to do the handoff, right? She said, every time I meet him and he's mean to me, I get to go do something nice for myself, like have a Starbucks or have a nail, whatever. Okay. So she in turn behaved differently when she saw him. He in turn behaved differently because she was different. And they ended up actually having a very nice relationship. And then when she got married again, he actually even came to the wedding. So like, point is, if you think of one nice thing you can do, or just some small, tiny little thing you could do to get yourself to practice a guitar or go for a walk, is it something as simple as putting your shoes out of the closet, but maybe right next to your sink? You know what I mean? Just tiny.
Now,
love it.
This morning, I had to go to the I go to the chiropractor every morning, and the reason every Monday, Lori, he has taught me to walk better, stand better, not lift things that are too heavy. Again, 40 years of lifting things that were too heavy. So, but I found that by going on Monday morning, it sets me up for the whole week of feeling better. Like I think, oh, that was so well. So on my way to the chiropractor at a light, and I'm not making fun, but I'm pretty sure this guy is homeless. Okay. But he's always on the same corner. He has a lovely sign. He has water and a backpack, and people bring him food. Okay. But his body is magnificent because on the concrete, no fancy mat, no exercise clothes, he does sit-ups and stuff with 2 rocks. His weight.
Oh, he's probably killing it too. He's probably making some money. Bank.
He has a beautiful physique, and he smiles, but he doesn't just sit there. Now, as I drove by him, I thought, if that man doesn't shame every single person.
Oh yeah, that is so true.
I have to tell Lori Corbin.
Oh my God,
that guy, because you know what? It's such a positive thing. I'm sure that's why he's got plenty of food and he's got donations, because he's proactive.
He's clever and he reinvented it. Well, yeah. And, but on the other hand, if I said to you, one of the smartest things is exactly what you did. I mean, what do we all know how to do? We all know how to walk. What engages every muscle in our body? Walking. You're propelling, and not that I don't love the cycle inspect, but the impact of your body on a surface, on a hard surface, even though we don't love that hard surface, adds bone density. So from a walking standpoint, a movement standpoint, walking is awesome. And that is a brilliant thing to do. I would say if people go, yeah, I'm not doing that, or maybe I don't live in a safe spot or whatever. If I said, you know what, then let's take exercise out of the equation and make it about movement. I will tell you, the day you put your Fitbit on or wear your phone and clean your house is the day you burn the most calories. The day you have to run to the market, go to the dry cleaner, go to the post office, the day you have to, do stuff, then you are more fit. So it's basically sometimes, those are boring things, but like, what can I do that's going to make me vertical? And so make it something that is going to achieve a couple things. Maybe you say, I'm going to redo my closet today, or I'm going to, give some stuff away, or I'm going to, Marie Kondo my pantry or whatever it is, but I have to say movement itself. If I had to say that to anybody, just doing, like, I know we used to laugh about, okay, park your car farthest from the mall, or, these funny ones, but they really do work,
I totally believe in that. And I say it to myself, Lori, I put the other thing that was helpful to me. I put one of those free step apps on my phone.
Awesome.
Now I realize that when I was working with Cindy, she and I must have been getting in 15,000 steps some days in the studios. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Okay. But I go out in the garden, just going back and forth, like you're saying, housework, up and down the stairs. Well, Lori, when I go to the pharmacy too and different things, sometimes I've got 6,000 steps and I haven't even taken my walk yet. Now,
isn't that amazing?
I love it. But you know what? It really, when you see, and then I have a weekly results. This is a free app. It's called Steps. Shows me how many calories I've burned, how much time I've spent walking, gives me a badge. I love the badge. I love the badge. So, and if I start to walk without my phone, you should see me dragging the dog back into the house to get my phone, because I want the badge.
I want that attaboy. Actually, my husband gave me the Apple Watch for when I teach fitness. And so I'm laughing because I'll be out walking. I have a Doberman that requires walking very early in the morning. And I'll be halfway down the street. I've already started. And it'll say, sounds like you're working out. And you're like, have you not recorded it? I mean, I get so obsessed. I'm like, are you kidding? But yeah, that makes me laugh. But anyway, since we're talking about fitness with women, I have to say the other thing too is, and again, nobody buy anything. I mean, yes, this was another thing we did during COVID, but strength is weight loss. If you can equate that, there isn't one study I have yet to see that ever said aerobics is better than strength training for fat burning, calorie loss. Why? Because if you make a muscle denser, and trust me, I have been working out forever. I am a frail, I'm 110 pounds, so I'm not going to get big. Obviously, you don't have the genetic code for that, Lori. Okay, maybe you guys do, but most women don't. So if you can make a denser muscle, it's not necessarily going to be a big looking muscle, but if it's thicker and solid, it burns more calories when you're not doing anything. So whereas if I go out and walk, which is great for my heart and lung and calorie burning, when I come in, I get a little afterburn and then I'm done. And then whatever my body will burn at rest does, right? But if I make a denser version of myself, then I think it's 50 more calories per pound of mass. So not that we all have to walk around, robo, but I'm saying maybe 3 days a week, you say, you know what, I'm going to, and that could be wall squats. And I can show you those. You lean against a wall, you slide down, you hold, and then you come up, you can wall squat. You can do countertop push-ups. Okay. So you can't down on the ground. Maybe the hands are at the counter doing push-ups while you're waiting for the cheese to grill. Do you know what I'm saying? There's so many body weight things we can do that is strength training. So that's what I would say. I
think fabulous advice, Lori. And I think the hard part is, I don't know why it is. It's just human nature. Do you know what I mean? I guess.
Yeah.
hard for people to just take that first step.
Yeah,
It really,
I agree.
and
Yeah.
that's why, but my dogs have made it so much easier for me since I'm home now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's used,
You just,
by 10
well,
a.m., they're looking at me like, when are we going?
right. Well, and the fact that you just said my dogs, that's sort of self-explanatory. You will be walking. There is no way out. I mean, I've never met a dog that said, yeah, I'm good today.
Yeah, no. I know when people join gyms, because I did this when I was younger. Everyone is gym in January, and by March you have the machine all to yourself because everybody has stopped going.
That's true. That's really true.
And now my husband is into walking now, which he's never was, and he has his own little weights and he does his own little workout, which has been really good for him.
Yeah.
Is there another way for us to turn that knob in someone's head? See, I think you use the word strength, which is wonderful. I just think of that I'm trying to stay as mobile as I can for as long as I can.
Right. And I think, you're kind of hitting two nails on the head there in the sense that, to do strength moves, you generally have to be mobile to do them. If you can't squat, really get down, then you're going, well, I'm not going to do that. There are so many different ways to, engage in a squat. And it could be, again, let me take it back to something basic. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the guy that had the podcast, it was like his 9-year podcast anniversary. So he had the best fitness experts on. And I knew a bunch of them. They were people that I've interviewed and love them. But almost all of them said, you don't need to be fancy. You don't really need to get stuff. But there are a few moves that you could do that all of us can do. So in other words, they said, get back to the basics, almost like a Rocky style, can I punch a frozen cow, but can I lift something in my house that's awkward? Okay. So, do you have, did you buy a big bag of rice at the store? Or maybe it's baking flour. It doesn't have to be a weight, and biceps we don't need. But like they said, I know the perfect thing is everyone has a garden now, or most everyone has a watering can. Fill it up. It's usually 2 gallons, right? Walk around with it. I can guarantee you're doing the best oblique workout. You can keep your arm down. You don't have to hike it up, right? If you walk around, it's called a farmer carry. You're carrying something in an uncomfortable position. It's not here. It's not here. It's generally by your side. It could be on one of your sides, right? That is awesome fitness. So if life can mimic your workout instead of, if your workout mimics life, let me put it that way, you can do fitness. You don't have to say to yourself, oh, I need 20 minutes now. With a walk, you'd probably give me some time frame or some distance. But if I said to you, let's make it super easy for people. If I said, once a day, pick something up heavy and make it work for you, do the farmer carry maybe around your house and come back in, or, could you, you hug something, you could, and totally just dip your squat as, wide foot, right? And then you keep your head and chest up and you go down to where your knees say, that is enough. You don't have to go all the way down, but you would increase hip bone flex, hip muscle flexibility, obviously engage the booty, right? And you would engage in a workout. You could also take these things, yes, over your head. So let's say you don't want a watering can over your head, ruins the hair. But again, that flour might work, right? So if I've got the 5-pound, flour, pull it near me. Could I take it up over my head? Could I rotate? Could I put it just right back into my chest? And maybe I can't go full range, maybe I can just lift it to here. Can I rotate? Can I maybe squat a little bit? So the movements could mimic big movements that we've seen in, gym settings. But yes, the guys are basically saying, and I'll back up so you can see, a deadlift. Okay, that's a scary term, but it just means your knees aren't super bent. I'm going to back away for a second. So this would be a deadlift. Can you see my booty? So my knees are bent. I just go down this way and then I come up. I keep my knees bent. I tense the abdominal and the belly. And when I come down, I don't round down. I just kind of flatten my back, and then I'm going to feel it in the back of my leg. So they think deadlifting is like one of the best things you can do, right? You can also do a regular squat. So same thing, maybe I have my flower in my hand or I don't. Maybe I'm just bending my knees and coming up. Really engages the glutes and the belly. Okay. So those two muscles so important, because if those are strong, then so are your hips, so are your knees, and so are your ankles. So they call the booty and the belly your powerhouse. So if you can keep your powerhouse really strong, then your legs feel so much better. And if you go, yeah, I still can't squat. All right. How about you're laying in bed before you get up, right? You're laying in bed, you lift your hips to the ceiling and squeeze your belly and your bum. So it's called a bridge. Your neck and head can be flat. You might want to take your pillow away, and you could do bridges, and that would also do it. You'd have to do more of them, right? Because, it takes a while to, lift that. But I swear, if you said, okay, good morning, I'm going to just say, can I do 20? And go slow, wake that up. Your body will feel it. And that way you've engaged those muscles.
Now see, that's fantastic. Now, Laura, I need people to understand. So with this bridge that you've created with your YouTube channel I'm serious. I think of it as the most smart. And I told you before we started recording, I met with a woman recently because I've been looking for volunteer work that I wanted to do, Lori. Do you know what I mean? And but this one I don't like, or this place is dirty, or you know what I mean?
Yes, I feel that. Yeah,
it's smelly there, and so I'm like the princess looking for the right. I said to my husband, "Ooh, the Italian princess is having a hard time. I'm not sure I can work on the line in the food bank." So I'm trying to find a good fit. Well, by you doing this YouTube channel, and I think that people, when they go to it, what they'll understand, so you took what you know about media, which is huge. Mm-hmm. You took what you've known about fitness, and then also to make this space in your house that gives you this little studio that you can record these things, and they look so professional. This is amazing.
Well, thank you. Obviously ABC did do me a favor by saying, hey, you know what? You get to shoot your own stuff now. Hey, you know what? Now you get to edit it. Hey, you know what else? You can post the web copy too. So pretty soon, hey, you want to do your social media too? Of course I do. So that was helpful. I did, as an older person, learn new tricks, right? And so YouTube is not really awfully hard, although some of it still baffles. I take 10 people a day. I pretty much have begging in the subject line, like, hey, even if you don't watch YouTube ever, will you please subscribe to this channel? Because you got to get to a certain point, right? To make, so you don't look pathetic. It's kind of like, starting again is always so pleasant. But anyway, it's about the editing part of this stuff. Nowadays it is way more easy than using a real camera. Anyone can do this on their cell phone. I still use my camera for some things. And to your point of YouTube, I did watch a few of these people on YouTube that say, how do you get 1,000 followers? I watched that one, and one of the things they said was, you want to put out as much content as you can right away. So what I did, which makes some of my video look really bad, but I couldn't help it because I wanted a lot of content. I went into my Instagram account, and anything I had done, in the last year that was fitness related, I just went on an app called Rush. It's Adobe, okay, and it's for your phone. And I just made it 16:9. So instead of, like, right now, if you see me on portrait, I made it landscape. And then, so the sides are black, and that's not as cool as if I had a full, screen, but that's the way it goes. But the information was there. And then I added little graphics. Again, super easy, not hard to do. Only that it's tiny. Your phone is this big, right? Whereas my edit bay is huge. And I'm going to show you guys that we were talking earlier about. I'm going to give you a little fancy tour of my studio, which is kind of a neat room. It's got all kinds of sets, and then I have my edit bee. But anyway, so getting back to YouTube posting, I repurposed content. That's what I did. The ones that I knew I could pull. Yeah. And then once a week, I'm interviewing someone, and then I'm taking old storylines that I think are really important. Like, if anybody goes on now and subscribes, they'll see expiration dates. So I have the rule about the milk, the sell by, use by, best by, enjoy by. Oh my gosh, food waste is what we've got. So that one's really cool because it tells you what to do about those dates. And so that one I shot again because I had done it for ABC7. I didn't want to steal the video. I'd already, that's theirs. They paid for it. So I redid it at home. And so I am redoing some very important things. I have some really great interviews from people I talked to Zoom-wise during COVID that I plan to make really nice stories. And then once a week, I do a fitness one. So if anybody's starting out and they want to do a channel, I'd say get your makeup on one day. But before that day comes, plan. You want to write out, what am I doing this week? And, maybe I've got a food, maybe I've got a fitness, maybe I've got a lifestyle one. And then you just say, what do I need for those? Right. So obviously on that day with the makeup on and all, you're going to change your clothes to fitness. You're going to do your fitness thing. And then maybe you're going to pop upstairs to the kitchen, whatever. And so you have to be really organized. And I think obviously being in news and being a waitress in my earlier years, this helped me a lot, knowing what needed to go when and where, right? So just saying, oh, I'm going to do that isn't enough. You really kind of plan.
Lori, we could get so many shots done in a day if we were shooting a cookbook.
Oh, yeah.
And people say, and so bloggers and the people that's taken our food seminar or, our styling seminars and stuff, I'd say, the list is this long. There were 2 days before we got.
Oh, yeah.
And but you know what, to me, and that's when people say, oh, I don't want to do all that. I said, but once you get onto it, the sense of accomplishment when you're finished is phenomenal. And that's
amazing.
It's amazing. And that's why people, influencers, as we know them now, that are 23 years old, that are making, $100,000 a month. And I'm being pleasant now. I'm not,
good for them.
When this is on, yes, I'm saying, oh, it's so impressive. Of course, inside I'm bitter, Lori. But you get to know them, and I mean this. Those kids are working that thing. They're posting 5 times a day, new things.
Yeah.
They are working it. They are working very hard. People go, I don't understand bloggers. Well, yeah. I'll tell you what their credentials were. Their credentials were they planned on working really hard, and now they're successful. Yeah. So,
and they live on their phone. If you've ever seen anybody who's an influencer, their life is their cell phone. They have just that makes me crazy. Yeah. Good for them.
Good for them. I mean, it's just a different world, but the fact that you are bridging this is fantastic. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And you did bring up, the being ready. You had some great books, how to put a party on for 50 to 100 people. I still have that one. Maybe it's 250, but it was, and we think we did a Christmas one, like when you're getting ready for the holidays and you said lists. You have to have, this is for all the pots and pans you need. This is for the food you can buy that is weeks out. You had it going. It was just brilliant.
And
Loved
you know
it.
what, Lori, when you say that, much like your date and expiration, and thank you. There is information that can be updated, but it's classic and it stays in style. So when I see people that are doing party and stuff, first of all, themes never go out of style. Do you know what I mean? Paper plates never go out of style. I love the fact I've been going through old boxes of stuff of mine, trying to throw some of it out because I've kept every single program that my name was ever in. And now I realize maybe I don't need that. Okay. I needed it, but I don't need it now. So, but when I see these boards, and they've actually been a couple of books that have just come out about cheese boards. And it absolutely cracks me up. I mean, it's great information. And you know what? The easiest way to entertain in the whole world. Put out a cheese board, put out a fruit board, put out a crudité, and put out a dessert board, and you've got a party. Some little tiny plates and open some wine. Oh my God. You're not tied to your kitchen. But when I went into my box of treasures from 1984, when I started culinary school, the whole picture, all the pictures were, Lori, we called them trays in those days, but they were boards.
Yes, absolutely. And that makes, as you said, the tried and the true. There is still, I mean, people still have to do that very first brunch or that very first dinner, or, again, or even their very first workout or their very first YouTube or whatever, it's designed to suck. But, if you can, I think the beautiful thing about now online is that there are a lot of people that maybe we've never heard of that are actually very good at imparting this information. There's also a lot of people that can barely speak English imparting the same information, and it's not good. And you still laugh that there's like, they have over 1,000 hits and you're like, I can't even understand you.
I know.
So that makes me laugh.
I see stuff and I think that was the most distasteful recipe I've ever seen. And yet 100,000 people, okay. Well, then when I see that, Lori, in all honesty, I think to myself, then you need to broaden your own horizons, Denise, because you're not in touch with what people think is good. Do you know what I mean?
I do know that. Yeah.
I know what I think is good, but maybe I'm not always right. Now, I hate admitting that, but maybe I need to look at a bigger picture of things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or just know that there are so many rights, there's yeah. And I'm going to, just so you know, in case my earbuds go down, you'll see me run away for a second and Cindy can edit that out, but I will put them in the case, then hopefully you'll have regular audio. But yeah, from what I understand, it's like my version of the truth is different than your version of the truth. So that means, what I think is classy or really a good read or a good watch might not be the same. Obviously all you have to do is notice that what's the top 10 on Netflix and you're going,
yes,
I don't think I'm their audience.
Now there you go. And that's exactly, I've watched some TikToks when they were big recipe things. I have yet to do a TikTok of my own. It cracks me up, but Cindy signed me up, got me an account, because I said at one point I was just going to sit in front of my phone and take 2 pieces of bread and cheese and salami and throw them at the camera and say, this is a free form sandwich. And then just say, thank you so much, bye-bye, and have people, I want to see people's comments like, lady, you're nuts. That's not a sandwich.
Or see how many, somebody,
wow, she's a genius. So anyway,
yeah.
I have yet to make my TikTok debut, but I only say that because I set up the account, every day I get notices on my phone saying, you have new followers on TikTok. And it cracks me up because I've never posted anything on it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I'm like that with Twitter. It's like I'm kind of over following all. Now I can't even count how many there must be now, but I know I'm doing like 3 things, and it really annoys me that I have to, to your point, if you're going to do YouTube, that's a longer version. Well, that means on Insta that you're posting to Facebook, you have to do a short version. So you have to remember to add that to that list that you're doing on the day you have your makeup on. That's a little bit more painful too. Yeah.
Let's tell this story, and then I cannot thank you enough. And we're going to just say the name of your YouTube channel again. When Lori used to come to our house, to my little tiny birdcage studio, I want people to know when she first started coming, probably 20 years ago, Lori, you brought a sound man, there was a cameraman, you came, you were the producer and the talent, you had written an intro for yourself, you were beautifully groomed. Now, as TV changed, as we're talking about the changes in media, one day it was just you and a sound guy. I'll never forget. Or you were doing the sound and you put the camera and there was still a cameraman. And then one day you arrived and you were all by yourself and you pulled up the camera and you set up the tripod and you jumped in front of the camera and said, hi, I'm Lori Corbin. My guest today is Denise Vivaldo. And then you would jump back behind the camera and Cindy and I would be in the camera's eye. And I remember after you leave, Cindy, and you would edit it and then you would tell us when it was going to be up. And I would say to Cindy, now there is a woman that you give a job and she gets it done.
Oh, wait. And PS, did we not get done like within like maybe 45 minutes instead of those other guys? Yeah, it took no time at all. We knew exactly what we're doing. Yep.
And you would always, which is, again, talk about preparation. You would tell us what you wanted, the theme, the idea for the show. We'd get it ready, set it up. You'd come in, we'd shoot that thing. And when we'd see it later, I'd think, my God, that was perfect. Okay.
Oh yeah. And that was such cute stuff. Yeah. And you guys did such cute
a lot of information in 2 minutes.
I know, I agree. I agree. I mean, it's the news you can use. I know someone invented that. It wasn't me, but like it really was. To me, my job is supposed to say, how can I make you eat smarter, move better? That is like, that was it. And occasionally they'd say, can you do goat yoga? And you're like, okay, I will. But or weed yoga. I mean, I can't tell you how many yoga things I covered, but I mean, yeah, I've done some weird stuff because it was trending, and that's fun. I guess that's totally watchable. But I wanted to tell people how to help them, how can you make your life better? Because I know it's weird. I like to eat well and I do like to exercise. And I know that's not normal for normal people. So if I can make it doable, if somebody can actually like this stuff, like you guys, I mean, we put together fun breakfasts for kids, those back to school lunches. You guys made the cutest food. It was just so fun. I really, really love that.
We did make cute food.
Yeah.
We made cute food. Now, tell us the name of your YouTube channel.
So I think I always started my titles, at least the first, 7 was food and fitness coach Lori Corbin, because that's what I was for ABC7. So I thought, well, maybe if people remember, they could Google that. I think if you do Lori Corbin, you might just find me. But if you put the food and fitness coach in, you'll get, I think I've done about maybe 8, 9, 10 videos so far. Literally, guys, I started this channel last week. So hopefully you guys will subscribe. Yeah. I really appreciate that.
I'm going to subscribe, and I think that you look absolutely gorgeous, and it's very inspiring, Lori. It's very inspiring.
Thank you. Well, you know what? I'm inspired too, and I know that's important as we get older because I was pretty bummed out. I was the one that said goodbye to Channel 7, and then I'm like, well, wait, what am I doing now? And so you think you're going to do something, it doesn't happen, then you do feel bad about yourself. And if you're not in a big group of people, you can feel a little bit low, and you need somebody to give you attaboy a little. So thanks for the attaboy.
No, I have to tell you, what you said is so important. And it's been the first year Cindy and Patty were working and they took over DVG, the clients that were left, it was all great. I felt wonderful about it. I thought, oh, perfect. Then COVID hit. And then it wasn't so perfect. You know what I mean? And now, so it's been 3, but this is the first year that I thought, Lori, well, I have more things that I want to do. Do you know what I mean? Because I had to move here. We sold 2 homes, bought the 3rd, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. People have heard it before. They're bored to tears with my saga of, selling 2 homes and breaking down my studio. But people don't realize there are huge changes in your life that can, as we get older, you do not have the same support group. And if you're not out in the working world every day, I think it's only natural sometimes to think, oh my God, my life is over. Do you know what I mean?
It's true. And being irrelevant is not anything anybody ever wants to embrace. No. And I will say, even if you don't want to do a YouTube, even if you're just doing an Instagram every now and then, if you had people that followed you, they're just waiting for you to give them what you gave them, So in response to the people that Trina had posted, people were like, oh, I'm so glad to know you're doing this. And now people are giving me, I have a client, he would love to be on your channel. This guy has no idea I have 50 followers, right? But you know what? I'm going to have more than that real soon, So they know this is a great idea to keep sharing that information that people want. So yeah.
So well said. Well, all right, Miss Lori, as always, it was absolutely inspiring to see you. I'm going to your YouTube channel the minute I hang up. I know Miss Cindy will too. When we broadcast Lori, I'll put all the information up on the website, Lori, and Lori is going to graciously send us a little video of her pretty studio, which might be really, you know what, Lori, it's funny what people are looking for. When we would take a picture sometimes in a studio, so we're shooting a cookbook or an ad, and we'd take a picture of the light setup. Do you know what I mean? The for a natural light, and just where his camera is, we sometimes got more light on that than they did on food, because people said, oh, that's such a wonderful light setup. So every little bit that we show people might be helpful to someone.
I agree. Actually, I will let you go on this one, but make me laugh. Okay, I am not 12. We all know this. When I teach this one group, and they want you to wear these short tops, these belly tops. Okay, and so I'm really glad I have a tiny little tummy at this moment. It was nerves. I can't say it was the best diet, right? But anyway, stomach looked good. The day I posted a workout in my crop top, oh my God, so many more likes, which made me so mad. I'm like, are you kidding? You know, but really what they're just saying is, yay you for
Yes.
keep going. Yeah, sorry.
I think that I agree. Sometimes when I don't post a lot of selfies. I'm not taking pictures of myself in my stained t-shirt walking my dog.
Right.
But
Right.
it is amazing to me that when I do post a picture, you know, and then all of a sudden 300 people say something, I think, why did anyone care that I posted that picture? Well, maybe because they like my lipstick. I don't know why, but maybe they tell me different things.
Just
You know?
efforting. Yeah, we're inspiring, Denise. Thank you. You inspire me. Yes.
Well, madam, okay, everyone, if you want to, you reach out to us at womanbeyond@icloud.com. We have a Facebook page called Women Beyond a Certain Age on Facebook, and we have a website. Well, Cindy, we have archives of, you know, podcasts. You know, Laura, I think we've done almost 200 podcasts now. I know.
It's so good.
We're so grateful to everyone that listens. We're so grateful to everyone that leaves comments. A lot of people are afraid to leave us a comment on the site, so they private message me, and I just want to thank people because it's fine. I love hearing what people have to say. If there's complaints, of course, Cindy handles that because I'm fragile.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes. What a flower.
Yes, a delicate flower. Thank you, Cindy. As always, Cindy keeps the train on the tracks, and we know that is true.
Thank you both.
And
it was a wonderful time.
Look for Lori and her new YouTube channel. It's fabulous. Food and Fitness with Lori Corbin. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.